Hi, this is Cheryl for Cut at Home. Today I want to talk to you about making some tulips using the Sizzix Susan's Garden tulip die. Makes beautiful, very lifelike tulips, and they're actually fairly simple to make. The tulip's constructed a little differently than most flowers in that the calyx is actually on the inside of the flower. You can see here, and if you look at a real tulip, you'll see the dark spots inside. Now I've prepared my leaves already. I've shaped them on the mat. I've pinched them, bent them back a little. I applied a little yellow color to the base so they're ready to go. Again, I've got my first 3 leaves glued onto the calyx. You're going to alternate petals here, and when I go back and fill in, then my petals here will overlap. You'll notice that my flower is pretty flat at this point. We'll sort of rejuvenate that as we place it to dry in one of the little flower pots made by Susan's Garden as well. But essentially, I find it easier to apply the glue to the calyx, to lay my leaf over top, or my petal over top. I'm going to flip it over to make sure that my calyx goes in the right spot with respect to the petal. Again, I know my flower's pretty flat here, and it's okay. I want to hold that in place for a few seconds just to make sure that it adheres properly, and then I'm going to move on to the next one. Again, just gluing in place, adding the petals so that they overlap somewhat, and flipping over to make sure that my calyx position is where I would want it to be. Again, I want the front to look good when I look down into that flower. Just by holding it for a couple of seconds, the glue will then start to take hold. I'm using that Scotch Quick Dry adhesive, so that takes hold fairly quickly here. And here we go with my final petal. I'm going to place that in. Again, flip it, get the calyx into position. I've got a lot of excess glue there. I'm going to try and flick off there. I'm not having any luck with that. But I'll hold it down into place so that it holds. And then I'm ready to put it into the little molding cup. These are some that you can purchase through Susan's Gardens. They're clear. It's kind of like an egg cup here. But here's where I'm going to fold back that flower, and I'm going to place it upside down in the cup. Now it's kind of hard to do this because you're trying to keep everything together, keep all those petals where they belong. Your glue's not dry, so you're fighting a bit to hold things into place here. But just kind of place it upside down in the cup, hold your petals in place for a few minutes, and that part should be set. You're going to leave that to dry pretty well before you move on to next steps. Now you also have stamens that need some work. Here we needed the bottom colored with Copics or with another marker, so that's fairly easily done. I'm just going to grab my stamens and I'm going to start to roll them. I want to put a little glue on this other end so that I can put the rolled product together. Then I'm going to roll it right up and remove my tweezers so they don't end up glued in place. Again, if you hold this in place just a couple of seconds, it will be fine to work with. That glue sets pretty quickly. In the meantime, while I'm still holding it there at the base, I'm going to pull out these little individual stamens a little bit. I can do final placement later on, but I want to separate them a bit so that I can dip them into glue. And I've just put some glue out here on a craft sheet, but I'm going to dip these into glue, and then I'm going to dip them into the Woodland Scenic pollen that gives the little extra added effect to our flowers here. I haven't found any other product that will work as well as the pollens, so you just sort of have to track them down. They can be a little difficult to find at times. But just dip them in when you're satisfied with the coverage, sort of shake off that extra and lay it on your craft sheet to dry. That way you're ready to go when your flower is ready to go. So very simple flowers. You can also add long stems to them. You'll see in my project today I'm putting them in a basket, so I need a stem. All I've done here is to cut a circle, put an 1/8 inch hole in the center, and use score tape to adhere that to the back of my completed flower. So there's lots of fun things you can do with Susan's garden. Again, featuring the tulip today. Thanks for watching. Bye.